Hi everyone, welcome to another UAE chapter webinar. I'm the host for today. My name is Ankur and it's 7:30 p.m. So we have around 37 participants joining us right now and hope to have more people joining. So let's take more of 4 to 5 minutes so that you guys must be joining from a busy schedule. So must be a working day. So let's wait for more of 5 minutes and we can start the webinar. And in the meanwhile, you can introduce yourself in the chat box, sharing your LinkedIn IDs and where you're joining from, so that you get a chance to do networking with the other attendees. And today we'll have a very good topic, and our uh, uh, our host for today will share a lot of things with you. So let's wait for. Now it's 7:30, so we'll start at 7:34 p.m. Welcome Hassan, welcome Shamil, welcome Ishad, welcome Deepa, welcome Mufaddal, welcome Yasir, welcome Muhammad Ahmed, welcome Murlidhar, welcome Devika, welcome Zahir, welcome Shamaila, welcome Simon. So we have people joining again from Abu Dhabi, India, Alain, Umma and Salala, Dubai. If you have not subscribed to the channel, you can subscribe to the link mentioned in the chat box. We have LinkedIn, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, YouTube, we have videos. These webinars are posted there, and as well as Instagram. Although we have people who have been a part of this webinars, but if you are new to this webinar, we just want to share that this webinar will be last for from we'll start at 7:30 and we end at around it will be 1 hour 15 minutes approximately, where you can post your questions after the end of the session or in between the session in the Q&A section. And you have any question regarding the membership and all, you can post or send us the email on the email IDs mentioned during the. I'll share the email ID during the introduction for the chapter. Okay, so it's 7:34 p.m. So we'll start our webinar. Welcome again from I know people from different time zones. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and I hope you had a great day or the day is going on. So we are UAE chapter of PMI. So we have attendees from different time zones. So thank you for giving your time for attending this webinar. We'll be exploring today's topic, which is how PMO leaders earn their seat at executive table, shifting from governance to measurable business values. My name is Ankur Arora, and I'm the host for today's session, along with my colleague. Before we begin, we want to thank our distinguished speaker for joining us today. And this webinar will get you two PDUs. I hope you have registered at the time of registering for this webinar through the ID, which you have registered ID for PMI to gain those two PDUs. So we encourage you to actively take part in the session. During the session, just keep on posting your questions if you have for our session speaker, so you can get the answers through the question and answer section. So before we start, we want to take you through our PMI chapter presentation. So we'll share my screen. Okay, so we are PMI. We are a part of PMI Institute, which is UAE chapter. Okay, the PMI was founded in 1969 by a group of working project managers, and even after 50 years later, PMI is now the source and resource for all the things in the project management. We offer trainings, accreditations, and we are a very big community. We are one of the largest professional association in the world. We issue globally recognized standard and credentials, and we do sponsor and publish research, thought, leadership, and knowledge content. Our chapter vision is to empower and influence individual with the innovative project economy principles to turn the ideas into a reality. Our chapter mission to disrupt and create value-driven opportunities to our chapter members and partners to become agile, innovative, productive in the platform for the growth of project economy. Our chapter, some USPs, we are 100% run by the volunteers. We have more than 4,000 plus active chapter members. We have been ranked among top 5 chapters in PMI, EMA region. We focus on top leading industries and trends. We are serving the UA aspiring community of project managers, PMI certified holders, and the project and program professionals that are seeking the project management capabilities and offering and believing in the importance of the profession. We are totally dependent on you to make this chapter activities interactive and to go the chapter increase and let we become more amongst other chapters. Our chapter board is led by our president Amina Abdul Rahim and supported by the directors from finance, governance, media and marketing, outreach, member and certification, events, and volunteer director. So, what are the benefits when you join our chapter? You get a chance to networking, learning, and knowledge sharing, career growth, and events. These webinars are the part of events. We have another new thing introducing Member Corner and Member Spotlight, where we do provide the spotlight, an exclusive initiative dedicated to celebrating the incredible professionals who have shaped the landscape of project management in the UAE. And a Member Corner, where Member Corner is your space to contribute, share, and elevate the discourse of project management related topics. You can join us on these channels Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, YouTube, and WhatsApp. If you have any inquiries regarding membership, volunteering, and general inquiries, you can send on these email IDs. So, without taking much time, we wanted to introduce our speaker. And before starting, I'll let you know what you will be gaining from this session. Most important thing is why PMOs lose executive trust and how to fix it. The PMO MVP value model for quick high impact wins. How to unlock executive sponsorship and reduce the resistance. A value communication framework for decision ready updates. So without taking much time, we want to introduce our speaker. His name is Mr. Ahmed Jadelrab. He is a global award winning mission critical coach and PMO transition consultant. Ahmed specializes in helping PMO leaders move beyond project delivery to demonstrate measurable business impact and executive level value. He also is a creator of PMO MVP Value Model and the PMO Powerhouse Leadership Accelerator Program, framework designed to transform PMOs into strategic business differentiators recognized internationally. Ahmed is top three bronze rising entrepreneur at the Global Project Excellence Awards and serve as a PMO Global Alliance judge. So, without taking much time, let's welcome Ahmed to take the stage and take us through the his sharing his knowledge. Over to you,
Yes,
Ahmed.
thank you so much indeed, Ankar. It's been a pleasure to be here today, and thank you so much indeed, PMI, you Japta, for such an incredible opportunity today to share something of what I know over the last decade in the PMO kind of transformation context and 20 years in the project management space. So, without further ado, just give me a sec to bring up my slides, please. All right. So today topic, I believe, as Anchor said, is going to be about how PMO leaders earn and keep their seat at the strategic business table. So shifting the mindset, and the traditional kind of classical way of PMO deliver value, for instance, from governance and reporting to sustainable yet measurable business value. So today is all about, I'm going to give you all the blueprints, the strategies, the frameworks to earn and keep your permanent seat at the table by proving PMO value in a way executives trust and respect. So I had led PMO transformation strategy delivery across complex environments. So this is the distilled playbook that works when time, trust, and ROI matter. So before we're gonna start, I just would like from you guys. So if you just we can go through five, simple true and false questions. Okay, just to set the stage for today webinar. So I would like from you just put T for true and F for false in the chat, please. So answering, because the reason why answering these kind of questions, your score will really tell you exactly where your PMO is losing confidence and how to fix it. So we're gonna kick this off by question number one. So your PMO
I'm
is
so
seen.
sorry, Ahmed. I'm
Yeah,
interrupting. Are you sharing your screen because your screen is not visible?
really? Oh my
Yeah,
goodness. So, I don't believe this happened to me. Just give me a
yeah,
second.
yeah, sure.
Before it was okay. Before it was up. Okay.
So it's
All
not
right.
visible.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Cool. 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 All right.
Yeah, it's now visible.
Nice visual. All right. All right then. Okay. I see. So now it's okay. Yeah?
Yeah, it's okay.
All right then. All right then. So just let me recap it very quick. So today's session is all about how the PMO leaders earn and keep their seat at the strategic business table, shifting from a governance to sustainable business value. So today is all about, I'm going to give you all the blueprints and strategies or the framework, sort of like a copy paste tactics, how you're going to earn and keep your seat at the table as a PMO leader by proving a PMO value in a way executive trust and respect. So I had led number of PMO transformation strategies, deliver across complex environments. So this is a distilled playbook that works when time, trust, and ROI matter. So to kick this kind of webinar very quick, we're gonna go through five true and false questions. So I would love from you guys if you could possibly be kind enough, just put T for true and F for false. So we're gonna go through five key legitimate questions. And the reason why the score you will put together here is really gonna tell you exactly where your PMO today is losing influence and how to fix it. Okay, so question number one. Your PMO is seen by executive as a strategic business partner, not just a reporting order or compliance function. Just put T for true and F for false, please, in the chat. All right, question number two. So when it comes to ROI, return of investment, so you can early or clearly, measure and demonstrate the return of investment and the business value of the projects and initiative you deliver. Am I going fast or shall I slow down, Ankar?
Oh, that's fine. Perfectly fine. It's
All
going
right,
perfectly
perfect.
fine. Yeah.
Okay, perfect, super.
So
So
let
question number
so let
three, our PMO has the right balance of process and agility, enabling strategic execution rather than slowing it down. Question number four. We constantly align projects and portfolios to the organizational strategic priorities, avoiding wasted effort on low value initiatives. Last not least, question number five. Our PMO has earned a permanent seat at the executive table by driving sustainable, unshakable business value and impact and outcomes and trusted decision making. Yeah, I can see so many, so many true and a little kind of false. Okay, so most of the audience, I believe, has answered by true, and this is 100 true. And the reason why, this is going to be our focus today. I'm going to take you then through the rest of the slide, step by step, to help you to understand the shift, how to position your PMO as sustainable business value, as a powerhouse, that really drive the needle forward, drive traction, and help the business leadership, achieve the bottom line objective and increase the ROI as quickly as possible, so that you're going to position yourself as indispensable PMO leader, so that you earn and keep your seat at the table. So my purpose today, I believe, and Beam Forever, is to give you the easiest copy and paste blueprints that really drive tangible business value and impact, so that you can keep and earn your seat at the table. So this is not a series, so you can drive measurable impact fast. So before we're gonna dig deep, I'm gonna give you, or I'm gonna take you through what does the industry today tell us about the PMO result. So if you look at the PMO transformation challenges today in the market, PMO often seen as a progressy, which is really drive low value, because 68 of the stakeholder perceives the PMO as a progressive. This is really, so what? The PMO lose trust, becomes a project police or process police. So wherever there is sort of like a progressive approach, the PMO does not really support the business line, does not really have sort of like a positive relationship with the different key impacted stakeholders. The PMO going to be received as a progressive and became sort of like a project policing rather than supporting, the company moving forward. The other challenge, I believe, is strategy and portfolio misalignment. So, for instance, the EPMO, the Enterprise Project Management Office, aligned to the strategy, 38% of more projects meeting goals, 33% fewer failed projects. And this is drive us to the notion around portfolio shift from busy work to outcomes. So the challenge number three, weak executive sponsorship and decision latency. So in a sense, 70% of the project have actively engaged sponsor in champion organizations versus 40% is underperformance. So the faster decision, the less chain, and the clearer priorities. So when there is sort of clear priorities from the leadership, there is very quick, fast action and decision and being made across the holistic portfolio pipeline, that really a strategic position for the PMO to realize the ROI as quickly as possible. So the challenge number three, benefit realization immature. 11.4 of investment is wasted due to poor project performance. And the reason why leaders question the ROI when benefits are not tracked and realized, there is no a very clear metric or business-driven metric that really measure ROI or measure outcomes or business value, rather than measuring performance or, let's say, on time, on cost, and quality. And this is obvious because most of the time there is disconnect between strategy formulation and strategy day-to-day implementation. Most of the time, the project manager has been given the project charter to kick the project off without any sort of alignment with the biggest picture of the strategy. They haven't been invited to be part of the business planning. They don't really understand the initial step of driving the project or setting the tone for success, which is all about the intake. When the business case has been justified, the business case has been developed, helping the project manager understand the what and why and the how for the project. For instance, what the project will really gonna drive and why the project has been put together to drive what sort of business outcome, and how this kind of project align with the biggest picture strategy, and the how we're gonna measure success when the project is closed or completed. In a sense, there is no sort of business metric, an outcome driven metric that really help the project manager align with the biggest picture of the company goals and objectives. Last not least, delivery performance is still weak. Over 35% of the project are fully successful, time and budget. So when this is the case, I believe the PMO oversight credibility gets challenged. And this is really scary statistic. If you could look at the 5 kind of challenges today, ranging from PMO seen as progressy and the strategic portfolio sort of misalignment and weakening the high-level senior leadership executive, sponsorship in the projects and program, or the portfolio at the biggest picture, and there is no sort of a clear benefit realization, to be measured and to be tracked across the holistic project life cycle. And the last, delivery performance is still weak over and over again. So this is really scary statistic. However, this is not really, I believe the reality, and this is reality, the pain to stay the same. So need to be greater than the pain to be changed. So this is not your problem, I believe, as a PMO leader, because oftentimes PMO globally face the same trust and value gap. So here today, we are going to solve the root cause behind all this kind of challenges happening today in the market. So I'm going to take you through a premise has been cited and benchmarked from the PMI, which is the alignment of the PMO to the goal of the organization's strategy. The alignment of the PMO to the goal of the organization is the key to driving the strategy implementation. Simply meaning, whenever you put any sort of a PMO, initially you get to understand the why, the biggest picture purpose for the PMO value proposition. You get to sit with the C-suite executive, with the leadership team, to help them understand this PMO is a business-driven, is a strategy-driven PMO that really drive unsustainable business value and impact rather than inputs. So the PMO construct got to be aligned with the biggest picture strategy and serving the biggest goal and objective of the company moving forward. So I'm going to take you through very quick the strategy life cycle. And the reason why I'm showing this, there is a very legitimate critical areas where the PMO could drive the biggest value, often has been missed today. So if we look at holistically at the strategy life cycle, there is 3 phases behind it: strategy definition, strategy execution, and strategy realization. The strategy definition is all about the business planning, the policy scorecard, the vision, mission mapping, and put all the project kind of goal and objectives. It's all about the idea has been identified, the project has been approved. So in a sense, the value the company or the leadership hope to achieve has been defined. So when it comes to strategy execution, it's all about the project has been kicked off, the project charter developed, and the planning is started, and the delivery, kind of kicked off. So the value start to be implemented. However, when it comes to strategy realization, we need to make sure the benefits, over the project has been closed, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, and so on. The project has been realizing the intended business value and the business impact. So we need to measure any sort of business metric has been articulated initially in the business case to make sure the project is really driving the needle and confirmed to be successful. So looking at this kind of strategy life cycle, I need from you just to see how today the PMO leader really missing the mark when they really put the focus and put the priority and put the energy in perfecting the project execution side of the picture. Let me give you an example. So I had an experience, or I had a story. Back in 2015, I had the PMO, the first PMO ever. They asked me to derive sort of like a PMO center of excellence to support the holistic project deliveries, because the project management is being broken. So the business leader asked me, Ahmed, okay, we need from you to develop best practices for project management. We need to develop sort of like a framework, methodologies, tool and template and processes, and eventually we need to put sort of like automation and solution that really to give us sort of like holistic feasibility across the portfolio pipeline. I tell the CEO, it's okay, fair enough, I can do that. And then I start jumping straight away. I look at the project managers, guys, we need to do sort of like assessment very quick, because I feel there is maturity and competency when it comes to project delivery. So we need to address this kind of gap, because eventually we're going to put sort of like a training program that really close this kind of gap. And I'm going to put my support for you around any tool, template, processes that really ease and drive, or to enable you to be successful in delivering projects. And I've done that within 3 to 6 months. I built a database of everything as per the PMI knowledge practices, and it has been wonderfully designed and meeting the needs and meets the CEO big why when he hired me. However, we realize after, let's say, 6 months or 9 months, still the problem or still the issues remain the same. There is no clear sort of like, ROI measurement. There is nothing has been improved. The project taking too long and costing too much, because I start perfecting the project execution or the strategy execution side without giving myself a grace and looking face, guys, where is the business case? And eventually when the project has been over, guys, we need to measure whether this project has been meeting those kind of goals or not. But myself and the project manager hasn't has this kind of picture, because there is obvious disconnect. The project manager has been given the project charter and has been nominated when the exercise of the strategy execution of the strategy definition happened. So no one could blame them. However, bottom line, long story short, when I've done all the, putting the tool and template and processes and methodologies and the governance in place, is still the problem the same. So from that time, I come to realize, in order to have sort of like holistic view to the holistic organization and to support the whole value chain, we need to look at the strategy definition phase, and we will look at the strategy execution phase, and we will look to strategy realization phase. I didn't claim or argue strategy execution is not a place where you could drive value. However, there is a place is a greater or more critical to drive value even very quick. And the reason why, the more you start with you're starting in the right order, you support the strategy formulation phase, you're going to set the project for success. So first things has to come first. So in today webinar, I'm going to take you very quick through sort of like a neuroscience approach for PMO leadership success. I'm going to give you sort of like a blueprints and a mindset shift, how the PMO could have a stable inner system or sort of like a state of mind. They have all the strategies, all the sense of, cognitive kind of capabilities to navigate through different key stakeholders. And we're going to discover the best areas where the PMO could really drive tangible business value. When look at the holistic strategy life cycle, we're going to uncover magical proven blueprints, okay, to uncover the team appetite or change, how we're going to navigate through the different key stakeholders and how to bring them into the fold and build a positive lasting relationship, today and forever. I'm going to even, we're going to touch base upon how 7-step unstoppable communication framework, how you're going to communicate with different key stakeholders, okay, ranging from a project team or of C-suite executive, different languages to different team, I believe is the case. And a proven minimum power progress model that really accelerates the strategy delivery. And I'm going to touch base the best marketing and organization change management strategies to ensure, the changes stick and to avoid any sort of like friction and resistance from the key stakeholder. And last not least, we're going to go through several layer deep why to understand the real pain point and change and the pain point and the challenging and the challenges exist, when you do the initial assessment. Okay, without further ado, let me, or before we jump to, to understand your why today, what you hope to achieve today, I'm going to take you through even, new role, new state of mind. So as a PMO leader, I'm going to give you a blueprints and a proven strategies, model proven practices, how to have sort of like a stable inner system and a state of mind. You have a leadership capabilities to navigate through the different key stakeholder. I'm going to give you a proven framework, and several layer deep why and blueprints, how you're going to gain by the support from everyone and how you're going to holistically support the strategy life cycle. So before we go and dig deep, I would love from you just to tell me what is your why today. Your why matters because influence is earned through clarity, consistency, and outcomes, not effort. So the more specific is the better, the more senses the better, the more it involves others is the better. So I believe the powerful why you have today with the best what and how create miracles. So could you please just in the chat, put in the chat what you hope to achieve from today's webinar before I jump to the next slide. So I'm going to take you through the, over the last 9 months, I polished sort of like a PMO business proven model. I call it PMO, minimum viable progress value model. Is all about, and the reason why, sorry, I call it MVV. So you need to develop quick wins, tangible business value as quickly as possible, because if you haven't do that, the senior leadership who really brought you to drive this kind of transformation journey, they're going to block off, if they haven't seen tangible quick result. So I'm going to take you through what it is, what it does, and how it changes your life. So the minimum viable progress value model is all about a holistic system or proven 5-step framework. Okay, you go through them step by step. There is no shortcut to success. You have to understand your inner system. You got to understand, or you have to prepare yourself for the journey ahead of you, and you have to go through the 5 steps in the same cadence so that you drive an ROI within 90 days. So what it does, it really helps you pick the right problems, deliver fast win, and build executive trust. So the outcomes, when you follow the same framework, and it has sort of like measurable, you have measurable ROI, you have influence, you have the trust, you have the leadership support, you have every key stakeholder and team support because they believe on your capability. You show them value very fast so that you're going to keep and you're going to face in your seat at the strategic table. So I'm going to take you through the feature, the outcome, and the benefits. So as I said before, what it is, what it does, and how it changes your life simply is really supporting the holistic strategy life cycle. Is not supporting only the strategy execution, perfecting tool, template, processes, and governance. Because these are tools means to the end, it's not the end itself. So you got to start right in the first order so that you could really drive and eventually this kind of has positive ripple effect when it comes to the rest of the solution service offering you're going to put together within execution and realization phase of the strategy. And how it changes your life, simply speaking, when you support the holistic strategy life cycle, you're going to gain everyone trust, you're going to drive greater throughputs and maximize ROI. And this is simple definition. When you drive tangible value across the holistic value stream, you're going to have the ability to support a business outcome realization. You make the change stick quickly, and you're going to have sustainable business value for now and forever. So, and it has been built, as I said, in iterative agile approach. So every single 90 days, you get to deliver one single MVV, one single solution, one single capability. Okay, you're gonna jump again, do the same cycle, assessment, defining. I'm going to take you through the rest of what it is in more details. So just for now, as high level, is really drive momentum. You show value faster when you really drive very small tangible value as quickly as possible to support your journey, to have the momentum and to have the clarity and to have the respect as quickly as possible. So even it has sort of like five steps framework. I have designed sort of like a proven framework. Okay, how to communicate with different key stakeholder, and I give sort of like a prompt that really, when you speak to those kind of stakeholder, they're gonna show you are respecting them, you're listening to them, yeah, you're giving them what they want before assuming giving them what you need. And we're gonna have sort of like, it has clear roadmap and breakthroughs for success. So before we go through this kind of framework, I would like you just to go for take you through the common pitfalls, the common mistakes that are happening today in the market. PMOs fail to deliver strategic value. Why? And I'm gonna take you what to do about them. So these are the mistakes I believe that quickly kill trust. Okay. So if we fix only these, your capability jumps immediately. So I'm gonna take you through, let's say 7 or 8, kind of common mistakes today happening in the market. There is number one, there is no clear value proposition for the PMO. The PMO jump without understanding the why, without sitting with the key stakeholder, with the PMO sponsor, understanding the PMO value proposition, what we're going to serve and why we're serving it, and how this kind of align with the biggest picture, impact and strategy. And oftentimes PMO focus on outputs, not outcomes. Okay, perfecting the projects, kind of triple triangles, rather than making sure the project really achieving the intended business goal and outcomes has been articulated in the business case. And oftentimes there is no business case, I believe, in most of the company. So ROI not proven. So there is no clear methodology, or there is no clear, pathway to really define the right metric and to measure them through the project life cycle, and to make sure this kind of ROI has been realized when the project is over. And often there is sort of strategy misalignment. The strategy has been defined somewhere, and the project has been executed in a different island, let's say. Governance over agility. There is no sort of like a right side governance that really is decision and action. So I'm going to show you how we're going to put together sort of like a right size, not too much, not too little, just right side governance that really is, and make sort of like a frictionless environment. So where decision has been, made as quickly as possible. So no prioritization plus weak sponsorship. Oftentimes there is so many priorities, there is so many projects. If everything is important, so if everything is important, nothing important, I believe. Thinking best what the stakeholder need. Oftentimes PMO leader, one of the perceived mistake, they assume they know the answer, they assume they know the pain key stakeholder has. So you got to give them what they want before giving them what you assume they need. You got simply go meet them where they are, get to know them, build the know, like, trust factor, so that they're gonna respect you, they're gonna support you, they're gonna, do whatever it takes to be successful. Solving symptoms instead of root causes. Most of the time, PMO leader jumping straight away, solving symptoms without having sort of like 7-layer deep root cause analysis to understand the underlying issues behind those kind of symptoms. No clear roadmap for impact. So when the assessment has been undertaken, there is no clear roadmap where it has all the solution, all the capabilities, all the business value, all the impact, who will be impacted, the key stakeholder, and the timeline, and the metric that really prove whether it was successful or not. So there is no sort of like clear roadmap or direction, taking the company from where they are to where they would like to be in the future. PMO oftentimes delivering outputs instead of outcomes. So standing still while the business evolves. And I believe this is one of the key, challenging, or one of the key biggest mistake PMO often take. They develop sort of like solution and service offering, in a sense, like, boiling the ocean and bing bang kind of solution or implementation. So you got to be agile, nimble, and flexible. So whenever there is shifting priorities, you get to adapt, you get to pivot, and you get to tweak as per the business, evolve, and as per the business, shift. So However, how great PMO leaders can do differently. So as I tell you, there is a number of mistakes, which is fine. However, there is a proven, blueprints. If you follow them, you would be successful. If you do the other way around, but if you do the opposite, instead of like spending months building tool and template and processes and governance, okay, so you can really deliver quick wins, build, kind of relationship, positive relationship, put momentum and action very quick, and you can really have a right size governance. You can design solution, not progressy. And the reason why, when you build this kind of solution, you have to develop, or sorry, create a bull, not a bush for your service offering, in a sense that you have to partner with your key stakeholder, give them what they want, and working with them in their words. When they articulate any sort of like pain or challenges or opportunity, you get to listen to them twice as you speak and give them what they want, because eventually it's not your PMO, it's their PMO. You're serving them. So the PMO, if I could put it in one single word, it's a service-based organization where you're serving the whole bottom line, the whole strategy value chain. So you need to align every effort to the strategy, as I said, and you need to create a pull, not to push, and give them what they want before giving them what you need. So now I'm going to take you through the 5 steps of my proven PMO model at PM Polish It, and today it has very competitive advantages in the market, where it has been centered around the leadership. You start by your inner circle, inner system kind of leadership readiness. You're having the mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional readiness that really drive change in a very smooth way, effective. And the other competitive advantages I'm going to show you later. I often polish sort of like a proven co-pilots or prompt. When you put this kind of prompt into action, it could possibly save your time 50 to 70%. It helps you to automate the admin and focus on more human-driven kind of activities. Okay, when you put this kind of admin on artifacts to the ChatGPT or AI, if I may will. And the other competitive advantages, you got to support the holistic strategy value chain, not focusing all on the strategy side. And you have to deliver one single MBV every sprint cycle, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. You have to define, measure, report, and have a feedback. What is working, you stick on it. What is not working, you polish it, you refine it, you delete it as per the customer feedback or the key stakeholder. So simply speaking, the MPV, the PMO, minimum viable progress value model, is it's some proven model. It's supporting the holistic strategy life cycle, okay, center around the PMO inner system and the PMO powerhouse kind of mental, physical, spiritual capabilities, okay. So I'm going to take you very quick to sneak peek or describe the service around what is SMP is all about. The SMP, simply speaking, as a PMO leader, before jumping into building kind of, governance or building sort of like methodology or doing the assessment, you got to understand your inner capabilities. Are you ready to drive this kind of journey? Because you're driving change. You're driving change with others. So you have to make sure from a mental, physical, spiritual kind of, from a cognitive or a neuroscience standpoint, you have to understand your leadership capabilities. Okay, and I'm going to give you a very practical example that really align and could possibly be mapped with the biggest picture impact the PMO can drive. And simply speaking, think about it as an instrument. So if you are not in harmony from the inside, you cannot be in harmony from the outside. So before you're building a PMO, you should build your own inner system, because the SMP is crucial for any sort of like a PMO transformation. So what is SMP? SMP, high performing PMO. Think, feel, and act in alignment. So when you have sort of like alignment, your mind, your heart, your body, from the inside, your cognitive capabilities, all very aligned, with the biggest picture impact and the value you're going to drive and how you're going to navigate through different stakeholder dynamics, trust me, this is game changing. Your journey would be so easy, to navigate and to bring trust and support from everyone. So spiritually, that means you got to be connected to the biggest picture purpose of the PMO. Mentally, you have to have sort of like a clear strategic thinking and all the time think biggest picture strategy. And physical, you should have the stamina, the sustainable drive, the energy. And lastly, the emotional, you got to have emotional intelligence. Not only the emotional intelligence, however, you could possibly have the CQ, and IQ, emotional intelligence, intellectual, and change leadership capabilities and skill set to navigate through different stakeholders. Because some key stakeholder, some are the lover, the hater, and the don't care. So when you have all these kind of 4-dimensional pillars, very stable, you will have the leadership capabilities to navigate through them, to build the relationship with them, and to win them around so that you will be successful. So let me give you an example. If you are emotionally balanced and empathetic, you foster trust. When you foster trust, this is really driving the PMO and sponsorship from the peer sponsor. However, if you are mentally scattered, you project confusions, the PMO lack directions. So when you are mentally unfocused leader, this is really drive stakeholder mistrust. I'll give you another example. So the PMO leader who lacks focus and mentally scattered, constantly going to shift priorities, he's going to fail to communicate clearly, he's going to fail to articulate the right message with the right team, and often he's going to overwhelm his team with many and often changing requirements. So the outcomes of this kind of inner system or state of mind, disorder, you're going to lose trust, and the PMO is going to be seen as irrelevant. However, there is a remedy action you can take today. You can take on in a different cadence, let's say monthly, quarterly, and annually, to bring this kind of state of mind into track. Let me give an example. So on a monthly basis, you can check with the PMO sponsor, with the key stakeholder, with the PMO champion, have him or have her as accountability partner who's gonna, support or really assess your leadership capabilities across the 4 dimensions. Oftentimes, you could possibly do sort of like annual SMP retreat or workshop or recalibration workshop. So to make this into action, you could possibly draft 3 to 4 actions every single quarter to really support, to empower your SMP readiness and directly connect them to delivering PMO value. So when it comes to the annual remedy action around having retreat or recalibration retreat, simply speaking, step away every single year. And even this is not about PMO. Sometimes, as of today, I'm solopreneur, I'm building PMO consulting practice. So when 2026 has been started, I often step back, reflect, reset, and realign. So you can really do the same even when it comes to PMO, which is really the case, okay, because the driving chain. And so the second, how you could really have this kind of stable state of mind using tool assessment, coaching, guided activities to elevate the SMP readiness. You could really set new intention, commitment strategies for coming years, surrounding yourself with a like-minded transformation leader, okay, you avoiding any sort of burnout, reconnect with your leadership identity, okay, and enter the new year refocus and ready to deliver value. So simply it's all about understanding your inner system, your inner capabilities, your inner state of mind, and what to do about it to make sure it is stable and really driving you to drive the bigger picture impact for the PMO. So this is step number 1. What we shared is all about the SMP, which is the powerhouse foundation for the PMO. As a leader, before building any sort of governance reporting and tool, build yourself as a PMO leader. You have to be ready for the journey ahead of you. So when it comes to scanning, which is the pillar number 2, or the step number 2 in the framework, scanning, you have to have holistic scanning to the current situation, the color culture, appetite, the maturity level, the leadership, the teams. You get to go and meet the team where they are, and the key stakeholder where they are, and to understand who they are, build a positive relationship with them. Because the more you build the relationship, the more you understand their pain, the more they're gonna beg for more and begging for your support. So you don't need to go and assume, guys, I've done the PMO in the X company, and I believe you have the same kind of symptoms or the same challenges, and this is a solution. Just let's do it. No one will fight, no one will support you, even they're gonna derail your success. So you get to listen to them twice as you speak and give them what they need before you giving them what you assume they need. So simply speaking, I'm gonna give you a sneak peek, and as I told you before, I'm gonna give you today just like a proven practices, modeling proven blueprints and framework. If you follow them, trust me, your journey would be so easy. So if you need to communicate with any sort of key stakeholder, you get to understand who they are, what they need, then how I'm gonna approach them. So there is three different types of key stakeholders. Some of them the champions, some of them the blockers, some of them don't care. The champions, those who deal the initial champions, the advocates supporting your journey. They speaking about you nicely. They had experience, a very successful stories for the PMO, and gonna promote you whenever there is any sort of like new challenging or new opportunities. They're gonna support you, cheering for you, supporting you all the way. However, the blockers, those who's really resisting you, they see often negative kind of result. Those might be aggressive yet assertive, and they often see risk, and they don't see any sort of value in the PMO. However, they don't care. Those they don't care about you. They're working around you. They're building their own PMO, passive, okay, and even focus on their own priorities. They haven't seen any sort of value in the PMO. They don't care about you, and they will never listen to you. From my humble understanding, the three pillars or the three types of key stakeholder, you have to deal with them differently, and you have to watch them differently. So since you know who they are, now what you're gonna do about it? How you're gonna bring them into the fold? So for those who champion your journey. So keep them fully informed and valued, and give them the voice and the decision in the initiatives. And simply speaking, there is one single tactics. You got to bring them sort of like a high level advisory report before you put any sort of solution or service offering. Bring them into one single room, guys. Before we roll out, I'm gonna assume you put yourself in my shoes. So seek their advice, seek the support. If they buy the idea or the service offering, they accept it, they like it, then go do it. So when it comes to the blocker, you got to listen to them. Listen twice as you speak, then justify. Okay. So when they feel like they have been seen, listened, respected, given them what they want, trust me, they're gonna beg for your support. Involve them in creating solution and addressing risk. So you could possibly, even when you put this kind of advisory report, bring those key blocker, okay, or the hater as important or as a key stakeholder in this kind of meeting or this group. Show them how the PMO gonna really change, and how the benefits, or how they're gonna benefits, and all the time link the solution and benefits the PMO gonna deliver, link it to their benefits. So you got to understand their WIFM, what you need from me from their perspective. Often time is personal. They might need sort of like a praise, they might need sort of like promotion, they might need have enough time to go early home. All the time, find the spots, the sweet spots that really align with their WIFM. However, the passive or those who don't care, you need to uncover as well their WIFM. You need to clarify the PMO value. You got to help them to understand what change we're gonna drive, who would be impacted, why would be impacted, and why this change has been put together, and when we'll implement it. Okay, So give them full clarity, okay, so that they could easily, easing and supporting your journey, to breakthrough success. So the stakeholders. So this is another sort of like a strategy. If you understand their power and influence, you got to put them in sort of like quadrant stakeholder map or power or influence kind of. You have to give them sort of like the right communication and engagement strategy based on their power, interest, and influence in the chain the PMO is driving. So each one of them has different tactics or strategies. You either to keep them informed, keep them satisfied, remove the fear, and you might keep them informed, don't overinvest. So as per the preference, as per the types, as per who they are and what they want, and so go and meet them what they are. This is the message. I believe it's what I'm trying to articulate. So when it comes to design, so now we understand the SMP, the inner system PMO foundation. We have undertake the scanning across the holistic value chain, stakeholder team, maturity, everything. Now when it comes to design, before we go designing high impact solution or before we putting solution that really solve the problem has been articulated as part of the assessment, you need to understand the underlying real problem, because oftentimes these challenges and pain point are symptoms. So this is a framework I polished 6 months ago, and I've been thinking what is the right approach, and I have seen the pattern over and over again. When I'm really not really, I mean, like when I'm scratching the surface and I come across a challenge and I go straight away, I put a solution, the problem gonna pop up over and over again. So, however, when you go through seven why this is happening, till to hit the underlying legitimate cause around the issue, the problem will go forever. Let me take you very quick. So, if you have any sort of challenge around the business leaders tell you project taking too long and costing too much, why? Project managers not really managing projects well, then why? The project team members always behind, might lacking competency, don't have the right maturity, they're not really confident, they're not really PMP qualified or certified, they don't have any expertise. Then why? The project teams argue the projects keep getting added to our plate. So there is number of projects has been added, so there is too much on the plate they cannot really afford. And this is why, because I think this is a resource problem or resource management. So if you pause here and you start develop a solution and you assume this is a resource management problem and you start, let's say, building a PPM solution or bring a tool, trust me, the problem is still gonna be going forever, which is the project gonna take too long and costing too much. However, the underlying issue behind resource management problem is not about projects keep getting on the plate. There is much project on the staff, so there is sort of like a limited staff, and there is no clear project prioritization problem. There is huge number of initiative has been defined at the beginning of the fiscal year, but there is no clear priority, okay, to understand what shall go phase and what shall go to the next year. So, but for prioritization problem, then why? There is no right size governance in place. So when you have the right governance, when you have the right strategic direction, and you have the right, governance board in place, I believe the right solution to resolve this kind of project taking too long and costing too much, and portfolio prioritization problem. When you put a solution around a governance and portfolio model in place, that really will solve the problem forever. And simply speaking, and I've seen the pattern over and over again, there is no intake, there is no discovery phase, there is no sort of like, business case development, there is no prioritization, there is no sort of like even accountability or governance committee or steering committee, those who has high level, feasibility and support and empowerment across the holistic value chain. And that's really driving action and decisions and supporting the project manager to be successful. and selecting the right priorities that really drives the needle and achieve the ROI as fast as possible. So when it comes to planning, I'm sorry, just give me a sec. We still have time, yeah?
We can take more of 15 minutes approximately,
Okay,
including
okay then.
Q&A.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like 5 minutes, we'll be good.
Yeah.
So when it comes to planning, you have, after you understand the current situation, you undertake holistic assessment, you put the right solutions based on 7 layer why, 7 layer deep why assessment, so understanding the underlying causes. Then it's the right time to put 1 year implementation roadmap that really give the senior leadership sense of direction and strategy for now. This is only strategy for now. You put one sort of 1 year implementation or roadmap, same like a project management. You put one single project plan. It has all the project capabilities, the project solutions, okay, or the key milestone. This is the work packages. This is the timeline. This is the outcome. How we're gonna measure success. The same philosophy. So you put the capabilities, the solutions, the impact, the business value, the timelines, okay, on a quarterly basis, and the metric, the business metric that measure the service success, not a metric for measuring a project, because you're putting a solution to drive the organization forward. So that's why I call it a business driven PMO. You are not solving only a project problem, you know. So when you put the plan, you select from the plan or from this 1 year implementation roadmap, you pick one single MBV or one single quick wins or one single solution or capability, you put it into action, okay? And you give it some time to stick and make sure when you do all this kind of 4 steps or 5 steps, you got to bring or you get to increase an OCM, organizational change management. And this model has been built to navigate and practicing an organization change management. And there is one piece I believe we missed, which is you got to speak, you got to market, because if you don't really own your PMO, someone else will own it for you. So you got to develop sort of like a clear messaging, marketing, communications, and you got to really put the right, engagement strategies and meet them where they are, okay, through a lens of organizational change management, okay. So when you launch one single solution, okay, you measure whether you are successful or not with reference to this business metric or the service metric, so you put together in the implementation roadmap. So within the 5 steps framework of the PMO MVP Value Model, I had polished sort of like a prompted. I'm not claiming, first of all, I'm expert in AI. I'm just learning and I'm staying ahead of the curve, because if I'm not really polished and master and hone the skill set for AI, at some point I will be behind. And I believe the AI will never replace the human judgment or capabilities. However, it really will augment it, your capabilities, through putting a data-driven insight that really support the leadership decisions and help you to measure measurable value as quickly as possible. So the reason why I put sort of like a prompted, uh, you know, artifacts, how you could really leverage the AI capabilities through simple ChatGPT. This is not about sort of like a technical complexity around solution or a technical technology. This is simply a prompting. You put the right prompt, okay, to help you to generate custom PMO framework methodologies. Even it could really help you with this kind of 7 layer deep why, help you with to do the assessment, driving even the prompt, how you're going to speak to the key stakeholders in a very respectful, in very engaging, in very, easing into bringing them with you through the journey. And this really help you to create sort of like personalized decision making and dashboard and analytics. So this PMO co-pilot approach is going to transform today traditional classical PMO reactive kind of reporting into heavy function reporting into very smart, predictive, and data-driven insights. If there is time later, I could show you one single prompt how you could possibly leverage the AI could really help you to move forward and move fast. While I believe the AI could make you more human, because when you leverage it, you will have enough time for an AI-driven activities. Because PMO leader oftentimes are so busy drafting report and dashboard, and so when you leader leverage in a very effective way, you have this kind of time, you put it into something valuable, more strategic, building relationship, and so on. Even so, this is one of the model. I tell you before we're gonna touch base a proven communication framework, and make sure when you speak to a project team, the language should be different from speaking to a C-suite executive or a leadership team, because leadership team, they understand business jargon, so they don't understand on time, cost, quality, and scope, and they don't care about it. What matters the most for them is to speak a business-driven language around ROI, bottom line objective, kind of increasing the market share, customer retention, compliance. So make sure select the right language and speak with confidence. Putting for them the for example, this is one of the framework, and even I have a newsletter I published like a couple of weeks ago. On every single week, we touch base one of this kind of value proof. I call it PMO value proof newsletter. So simply speaking, you need to convert the PMO into executive decision very fast. You don't need to, in a nutshell, give them the bluff, give them the bottom line upfront. You don't need to give them noise. You don't need to give them data and information and a heavy reporting. Give them what they know, what they need. Give them what matters, so that they could drive, very swift action and decisions. Simply speaking, if you go back, you undertake this kind of assessment, and you have sort of like a challenge or issue around performance. Remember the 5 steps of the PMO MVP Value Model. There is sort of like assessment. So you make the assessment, you come across a challenge. You need to go through the root cause before putting a solution. You have to understand the root cause, underneath it. Then when you know the root cause, you put the solution or the service offering that really tackle or remove this challenge. When you put the solution, what the business outcome or the impact gonna be realized, or what gonna be changed. So there is something before and after when you put this kind of solution and service into action. And then what the business value, what ROI has been realized. And ROI could be tangible, something discretely could be measured and quantified, or could be qualified, something could hardly to monetize or to measure. So either way, the business value, so what is the ROI has been realized, and the metric, you need to put a metric around how we're going to be successful. You need to prove to the leadership you move the needle, you have a tangible business value and business result after you resolve and solve this kind of challenge. Then when you put so, they will gonna put a very clear direction and approval to your solution when you put them in one single strategy for now, or one proposal for the PMO solution. And here, let me give you an example. So if there is a challenge, there is delayed strategic projects that really affecting the growth and the innovation, the bottom line, this is one of bottom line objective and the goal of the company. So the root cause, when you undertake this kind of 7-layer deep why, you come across there is too many mixing priorities and shifting priorities and lack of visibility. The leadership, they don't have high level, governance and portfolio, understanding what is happening across the portfolio pipelines. And the service the PMO could really put together to solve this kind of challenging issue around delaying strategic initiatives, setting portfolio governance model and dynamic reporting system in place. So the outcome, prioritize projects
Hi, Ahmed, you with us?
His line get cut.
I think Ahmed got disconnected. Let we wait him for like. Uh, Amit, can you check with him if he's joining? I mean,
I
is
will check.
this true? So I hope in a meanwhile Amir is trying to connect with Ahmed. So I think we have learned a new thing. What we has told about PMO co-pilot, and also I think it's time also 8:41. Yeah, he's there. He's there. Yeah,
Hello, sorry.
yeah, Ahmed. Yeah. So already it's 8:41. Ahmed, if we can just wind up early. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's over. It's over. Yeah, so I believe that that's it. So yeah, I believe this is like sort of community services. I believe ranging from PMO global alliances, supporting the PMO, yeah, PMIU chapter around regional PMO mentors, and yeah. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure being here today. Yeah. So if any sort of questions, I would be more than happy to answer.
Yeah, is there any questions? So Ahmed will can reply to them. Although we are short of time, so if we'll take hardly two or three questions. So you can post in question and answer section. Although there is no question till now. However, I saw this is an interactive session because you have asked the questions and the attendees have replied for that. Uh,
Mhm.
let's wait if we have any questions or I think there's no question we can see. Um, so. I think we have only one question. What I saw was regarding the session. You can join our Instagram, so YouTube channel, and you can see the video, the recording for this session on YouTube. Also, the link is mentioned in the chat box, so you can join it there. And thank you, Ahmed, for sharing your information. Although you take us through the strategy life cycle, you discussed about the neuroscience approach for PMO, how to discover areas best the support, which like the holistic support you told about, and you also shared like the common pitfalls and why the PMO fails and how to overcome those pitfalls. You also share like 5-step journey. Plus, I hope this is more important for a PMO like SMP, what you discussed, spiritual, mental, physical, and emotional. Yes, if we follow, it can create harmony. And then you discuss about the type of stakeholders and how to overcome them. For example, if it's a champion, so you should keep him engaged. You should address the blockers, and you should mobilize the passive. I mean, the people who don't care. Also, you discuss about 7 layers of why about and rest about the PMO co-pilot. So we appreciate your information sharing session and thanks to the attendees for joining us. I know people are joining from different time zones. I can see people joining from India, so I think it's around 10 or 10:15, and some other people are joining from some other part of the world also. So we thank you everyone, and frankly speaking, your engagement and questions are always valuable for us. Uh, Without our team dedication, this webinars are not possible. So we thank you, our marketing team, for promoting the webinars on our website and our social media platforms. Special thanks to PMI chapter volunteers from membership, outreach, volunteering, and finance team for their invaluable support in making this event possible. Finally, big thanks to my team behind the camera, Amir, Joyce, Achal, Nida, Parvez for the contribution behind the camera, as I again said. So we hope to see you in our next webinar. The details will be posted on LinkedIn and our social network channels. So you hope to see you there. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ahmed.
Yes, thank you. Pleasure having me. Take care. Bye bye.
You too.